Welcome to Presente, a space and community that vibes on being in the moment, something we are relearning how to do in a fast moving world.
We are excited to be part of a growing movement that talks about topics that we feel haven't been talked about in our Latin culture and womanhood.
Be present with us. Take a pause and break down societal norms.
Redefine the meaning of existing. Welcome to Presente, the podcast. Bienvenidos, Presente listeners. Can't believe it, but today is the final episode of season 2. Today, we wanted the episode with community ties, a topic brought to light by Jennifer and shared with me. So let's talk about community involvement. Supporting communities is an act of service to help uplift each other when hardships take over. Even though we live in a world of sunsets, for some, it can be one of turmoil. As Michael Jackson and many other artists once said, "We are the world, we are the children, we are the ones who make a brighter day, so let's start giving." Presente is not only about being able to stop and stare in the moment, but our love language is also acts of service. Let's talk about community ties.
Season 2 was very centric focus towards self discovery and loving yourself, following your happiness and goals by romanticizing your life and continuing to pour into yourself so that it fulfills you and brings you pleasure and joy, and to also have that effect amongst others, including your environment and communities. We sum up our last episode of the season with community ties and the importance and impact that a community offers.
Showing up matters.
So something happened to me today, in fact, for a few days now, where I just feel like it's been a week of snowball events, like one thing after the other, and it just becoming like bigger and bigger in terms of how the days go by. It's like always one thing after another, and I mean challenges that arise just out of nowhere, and you gotta tackle that. And I'm referencing work since I spend a lot of my time dedicated to my work. I love my job. I love what I do. My job requires a lot of hands-on in the field of media broadcast. That's the industry I'm in. There's always a lot of moving parts in this industry. One thing is that it's been a very hectic week. However, something happened today where I actually was in a meeting with my supervisors and my boss. And, they kind of just wanted to go through like a check-in, like, hey, Jen, how are things going with you, in terms of your workload, in terms of any mistakes that may have come up. Nothing, God, thank goodness, nothing to the extent of being like literally on the hot seat, but to the extent of them checking in with me, because given that I work in broadcast and Jissela and I do our recordings before we actually air everything out there, before we drop the episode. But working in media broadcasts, I tend to work ahead, given that Monday is a holiday. We are approaching President's Day. I got to always be working ahead, tackling my work. It can be a lot. Especially, yes, it's a great thing to work from home. I love that I can do that. I'm super grateful that I can do that, but it can be a lot. I don't have a break, guys. Like, I really don't. If I'm not, locked in on my laptop and meetings and dealing with my workload, I'm being a mom, or I'm working on the podcast, or something here in the house, or with my partner, things got to get done. So there's always something happening in my life, seriously. But I bring this up because it made me feel better after having such a upside down kind of week. And given that my supervisors and my manager, my boss, we had this meeting today, and they did their check-in. And, one thing they mentioned was like, hey, mistakes happen, we're not here to judge you. We're a team. And they emphasized that on more than one occasion. Whenever you're going in, I don't know about you guys, but whenever you got to meet with your bosses, you're thinking like, oh shit, what now? What I do? Oh my God, my job's on the line. What's going on? And yes, I was scared. I really was, because I feel like I just got here. So that's another thing. I just got here to the company I work with. I've been working in media for a few years, many years now. But with this particular company, hey, I just got here and it's been a little over 3 months working from home. It's great. So, I'm the newbie. Kind of feel like I'm walking on eggshells sometimes because you don't want to mess up and you don't want to overstep. But yes, they checked in with me and I feel like I needed that. My mindset going into this meeting was okay, I just want to be in and out of it. I hope it's nothing too harsh. And it wasn't. It really wasn't. They genuinely just, got to express, whatever's going on the business side of things, as well as just checking in with their team. It reminded me at the end of that meeting and thinking about later in the day meeting with Jissela to record, I was just like, you know what? They place so much emphasis on, hey, if you ever need help, like, don't hesitate. Like, we're here. We got you. We're a team. Like, we come first. And I was just like, wow, thank you. Greatly appreciated. I don't know if it's my Virgo ascendant sign. Jissela, help me out here. But I don't
Yep.
know if it's
Definitely her
that,
Virgo ascendant.
but I am one of those, individuals that it's like, hey, I got this, like it could be probably like a burning building and I'm like with no experience whatsoever, but feeling like, no, I got this. I can put the fire out. And truth is, you can't always do it by yourself. It's very helpful when others can chime in and pick up the slack, lend a helping hand, go out of their way, give their time up. It's very helpful. It's leveraging, what you can't necessarily do on your own. And there's going to be days like that. And that's totally fine. That's totally okay. I bring this up because in spite of me going through the emotions, that's the Cancer in me. In spite of going through that, the Virgo in me also, it's like, no, I got this, I got to be strong. I can do this. I'm self-made and self-efficient. And truth is, I needed that backup and that reassurance from my team, my colleagues, especially it coming from my supervisors. That really meant a lot to me because it can easily go unnoticed, and it happens quite often in the workforce or in any team or community relationship. It doesn't matter. It happens quite often. It can just be dismissed, and you just got to deal with it. So I truly appreciate that. And I bring that up and I hope that everyone else in their respective fields and in their respective relationships that they have in which, check in with your teammates, the partnerships you have going on, check in with them. It can go a long way and just help, get out of your own head and out of your own way. And that is, one of the significant things about having a community or your circle, however you want to call it, guys. But when it's others rather than just you. And that's what I want to emphasize. That was my lesson for today. And I bring that up because I can find myself sometimes talking about like the past and my experiences and throw in some lessons in there and advice. But I wanted to speak more on present terms. We are presente after all. And just knowing like the mindfulness, that I had and how all that went about. So just wanted to air that out there. And if you are the person in charge or, just another person on the team, check in with those that you are closely involved with as well.
I wanted to throw in there, I was going back to our old episode on the zodiac signs and I'm rereading what I wrote for Virgo. And I said, Virgos are an earth sign. They are intelligent and practical. Virgos are known as the maidens of the zodiac. They are known to love their checklist, have things mapped out, and how to achieve certain goals. They do heavy research when highly interested in a subject and will present you with all the data that they have found. They are really good at strategy. They are also into health and their well-being. The downside, I wrote that they strive for perfection in all aspects of their life, which can sometimes be really overwhelming for a Virgo. When you mentioned your Virgo ascendant taking over, it reminded me of what I wrote on that side for the overwhelming aspect that a Virgo sometimes is faced with in challenges. But you push through it, and that's good. That means you you definitely have a strong mindset to just go through the motions of stuff. But it's okay to also, if you have the support and the team behind you, to divvy up the work. Don't forget to, to do that sometimes, and to share those aspects with other people. So just a little, friendly reminder that it's okay to lean on others when you need to.
Community ties. This can go in many different directions and for many different reasons and areas within your life and your place on this earth. Somehow, with community ties, keep in mind that it's all connected when you give back. You're giving back to the universe, you're giving back to others and yourself. And that is a good source of self love and action because you're giving your time and you're making that impact on others. And little do you know or realize, but even for yourself. Some of my community ties has changed over the years. For starters, I have done volunteer work when I was younger, in my 20s, in college, out of college, community involvements, and that varied from, let's say, volunteering at a church for a food bank, or perhaps for some type of social event, whether it's to clean up the event or put the event together and volunteering my time. Other ways have been through donating some used items or money, whether it be clothes, toy drives, food. Donating is always recommended because, hey, it might not be useful for you, but it can be for someone else in need. Like they say, one person's trash is another person's treasure. And there's a lot of truth to that, especially now where things in today's society can be overly priced and expensive, and the inflation is just insane, out of this world. So if you don't need anything or don't find use of things in your home, be practical about it and just keep in mind that someone else can use it. So I find myself donating to, let's say, like my local church, or even to my family that sends boxes back to my home country of the Dominican Republic, just donating, whether it's clothing, toys, perishables, books, journals, paintings, it doesn't matter, souvenirs, things that, I'm just like, okay, it's been a while. I no longer use this, or I'm no longer in need of it, and I'll donate it. And I find myself donating to my local church like at least once, twice a month, especially now also having a baby and she's just outgrowing all her baby clothes pretty quickly. I've been able to donate some of her clothes that no longer fit her, whether it's to the church or even to a family member of mine that does her part within her community. And she actually goes to like the hospitals in the Bronx and donates back to mothers who just had like babies and they need baby clothes. And of course, everything is washed before giving it to someone else. Just to highlight that, try not to throw your things out just because you're done with it, but recognize that it can be meaningful to someone else. And yeah, that's some of the ways that I've been able to give back, as well as back in like my college days and volunteering with my college, whether I was like a tour guide or I was a panelist for like career services day and talking to students about my career in like media, to be more precise, business and media, and being able to talk to students about pursuing their career and their interests. That's another way of giving back. You're giving your time, your expertise, you're paying it forward with your resources and knowledge. And it doesn't always have to be money. So these are other ways and other alternatives that you can actually give back to your community. It's not something that I don't do as often as I used to do. Nowadays, my days are a lot more compact and busy. But I do intend on continuing to give back to the community as the year progresses. Doesn't hurt, at least once, twice. Let me see if I can take this time out aside to do that. The importance of community is to, yes, support others and give back and do a good deed. that's also important, at least important to me. What goes around comes around, guys, you know, and
Mhm.
you always want to give back and give out genuinely and in kindness and positively. That way you get that in return. But the importance of community can really help you branch out within your community, and whether it's within other communities that you're just curious to know about or want to learn something new. So again, this can vary. I do think that it's important. It helps with self-development, as well as to make any type of, you know, progress, or just to feel, you know, make someone's day. You know, in making someone's day, it can make your day. And some other ways, now that I think about it, for instance, you know, I used to tutor as well back in the day, whether it was with scholars or even adults. I've been able to tutor, and that's always pretty interesting because it's more of a one-on-one. But even then, that's giving up, you know, like my time to help someone else. Community ties can be anything, whether it's networking within business or sports or workout groups, you name it. It's all relative. And whatever your interest is, or, you know, if you just want to accompany someone and tag along, hey, go for it, do it, because chances are you'll be happy you did.
Showing up is a love language. I really love that Miss Jennifer shared her experiences on how she brings about community ties and her past experiences. I would like to also share a few that I have gone through in my own journey where showing up has been an important role, especially when I was a student in college. I was a part of an honor society at New York Institute of Technology. The honor society was called XAE, or more I guess, respectfully known as Chi Alpha Epsilon. And this honor was given to I guess, my group known as the Higher Education Opportunity Program, HIA. We were part of a special group in our college where we received extra financial aid assistance, especially coming from a household that did not produce enough income. HEOP helped to help us with textbooks and such. Years later, became part of what was known as an honor society for students that achieved a certain GPA average. One of my involvements was actually I was the public relations person for our organization. And that was a pretty cool role because at the time I had switched over to communications and media arts. So a lot of the people in our honor society was like, oh, you know, since it's a similar role to what you do in media, you know, why don't you become our public relations person or PR person for our honor society? And it was a pretty cool role. It was pretty much learning how to create flyers and brochures, taking photos of our involvement within the honor society. And of course, at the time, you know, we were students. And this is something at the time, my guidance counselor, shout out to Deepa Bala, who is now very much further along in her career journey, who kind of set this up for us to at least volunteer maybe like twice in 1 month, because again, at the time we were students and we had to go through classes and then balance out projects, papers, and also, of course, being a part now of an honor society and uphold our scholarships within the HEOP community, which I was a part of. One of the things that we did was we went to a church that was really close to New York Institute of Technology, and we pretty much were helping out the elderly community there with food storage and future food drives that they were going to have, even involvement with like soup kitchens and all of that. And something else we did that I personally still to this day do is speaking to high schools and the importance of getting your education beyond high school and sharing other important endeavors with students within the 16 to 18 year range of how, you know, once you get to college, that it's a different perspective. There is more opportunities of growth. At that time, I was doing an internship for a TV show. I won't name the TV show, but that time, and I shared that opportunity with a bunch of high school students, and they seemed to be very engaged because they were like, oh, wow, that's so cool that, you're working in, a media company. So that was something that I felt like was necessary to share because the population at the high school that we were in were mostly Latino students. So I was like, hey, I got to talk about, me being Latina and share this information back with other people. I wanted to share this growth journey with them. Even today, at this point, I still share this opportunity with many students about the experiences of college and beyond. For those that don't know, I actually work as a substitute teacher. I worked as a substitute teacher for many years up till this point. And one of the things that I've learned to do is to just be more open with students about these things, because I'm not sure if students can hear about it from guidance counselors or whoever's in charge of college prep. So I just thought it would be nice to kind of have these moments shared with them. So I've done a lot of long-term substitute roles where I've had to be in schools for 6 months, a year or so, and really got connected with the students to continue, their not only their educational development, but let them know like, hey, there's more to life than, just the curriculum, that you're studying at this point. There was many great connections from this. It was very inspiring to share with students, that I had. And I want to say many students, shifted their thinking when talking about these opportunities. It's all about meeting students halfway, like kind of like, understanding what a student's interested in and being like, oh, hey, there's a opportunity for that in this company or in this location. Like, don't be afraid to, venture off. When I spoke to these students, to me, it was like speaking, to my younger brother who's 10 years younger than me, Patrick, love you. And it was just like, speaking to my siblings and letting them know like, hey, there's chances for you to, definitely grow and develop further so that they could, evolve into the people or envision the life that they want to have and, be and all of that. Another way I actually was trying to give back to my community was also doing a YouTube channel. For those that, that don't know, I actually have a YouTube channel. It's still out. I just haven't been active on it for the past 2.5 years. And my channel, I changed the name to, it was my first and last name before, Jissela Murillo, but I changed it to Rebelde at Heart. I don't know. I just had a moment where I was like, I feel like this is kind of the moment in life where I am. So I want to change the name to this. So my channel is very open. I don't really have a niche on my channel. But there I talked about, some of my experiences in my journey, to help others through theirs. I did a lot of things that interested me, just like fashion lookbooks, share my lows and highs on my journey. The purpose was to create a space for anyone else, that maybe in a similar part of, this journey of kind of feeling like, hey, I want to find myself or, feeling lost, etc. So that's what Rebelde at Heart was to me. I think it was me trying to just find myself because at the moment in time, I wasn't exactly sure of what direction I wanted to take in, what I had studied at school, but I knew it was trying to have like a purpose or a platform just to, share these experiences. I even made a YouTube video on how to become a substitute teacher. And that video actually did very well on my channel because when I was doing, that video, I remember how at the time, I want to say it wasn't the way that the Department of Education kind of went through their process for substitute teachers wasn't really clear. So I wanted to bring clarity to other people like, hey, if you're looking for a flexible job or if you're looking for something, we need to have money in this world to eat and survive and to do these things. Let me share, with you the substitute teaching, positions that are available in New York City, etc., and give you clarity on the process because that was really confusing for me when I first started out. And within substitute teaching, I met a lot of really lovely people. I met a lot of retired teachers. And even there and then, the power of supporting others and sharing became very powerful in a positive way, where there was a lot of retired, teachers that weren't too comfortable with using technology. So one of the things that I did was, take some time. They always came to me like, "Oh, hey, Jissela, can you support us with this technology, or can you show us like how to get to this part of, taking myself off the schedule, or, little things like that? Or did you get this email about, this thing going on, for substitute teachers?" So I was more than glad to, just sit down, have patience, and just be like, "Hey, if you do need help, just come to me." And they always came to my room to hang out and talk to me because, I was for the most part pretty chill and very open with a lot of my old coworkers from New York City. And if they ever needed anything, I was there to help support them with technology, or maybe navigate through a website, something like that. And that just always brought really good connections with people, and just letting them know like, "Hey, I'm here if you need something." At home, I don't know how many of you are familiar with Marie Kondo, but Netflix had I'm not sure if Netflix still has her episodes up, but Marie Kondo is a Japanese woman who pretty much shares the art on how to declutter your home space in a very positive way. Not to like immediately like get rid of your stuff, but more of like, saying to yourself, "Hey, thank you for serving me at the time that you did, but now it is time to let you go, and to, have another home placement, for you, whether it be an item of clothing, old memory, photos." And she has like a step-by-step practice on how to go about decluttering your home. And I really like that step-by-step process because it just makes you see your items with a whole new respect. So I really recommend Marie Kondo for anybody that hasn't heard of her yet. Just watch her on Netflix. She's, first of all, so adorable and super cute. And again, I really enjoy the process of her being respectful to all of the decluttering steps that that she has shared with other people on how to go about, discarding your items with, again, respect. So this made me think of like a new mind shift. When I was younger, growing up Latina, my parents, they did the best that they could, and of course, we weren't rich. My parents were not, but they definitely always, my parents always put their best foot forward for their kids. And something I remember, going through as a kid was, hand-me-down items. It was something that my aunts, who at the time they were in their early 20s, 30s, and as I was becoming a teenager, my aunts would always give me clothes that they would no longer wear and pass it on to me. They're like, "Oh, here, we discarded some stuff. Take a look. If you like anything, feel free to take it home." This to me was, I remember just being so happy when they made these boxes, because my aunts really had amazing style. So I was, of course, really excited to see what they put in their boxes, and just pick items and pieces that I thought fit with my style. I want to say when I was younger, I don't know if I ever really had a style or whatnot, but I remember my aunts having great looks all the time. So, I just began to look and sort through the clothes, and was just, very grateful for the items that I had received from back then. And this is something that I like, this mentality, because I don't like waste of any kind. And we live in a world where, the environment is kind of shaky at this point. So if we have the, ability to give to other people what we no longer use respectfully, we can definitely pass it on to other people. There is no shame in giving your things to people that This is the way my aunts thought. So I, would also, at a certain point, my mom was like, "Hey, maybe you can go through your own stuff and see what you would like to give away." So we did this for a really long time, growing up in my teens, 20s, even now I still do it, where I would create boxes of, things that, once brought me joy, but now, it was time to say goodbye to them. And I remember back then, my mother would also ship things to her home country, which was Honduras. And my dad did the same thing. Like my dad used to buy like, razors and toothpaste, toothbrushes to give back to their families in Honduras or Peru. And again, I always thought this was so humbling, like to create these self-care packages and give them, to people, that needed it within, their countries or their families. So I do the same even up till this point. I always, my boyfriend, his mother, she sends things to the Dominican Republic because my boyfriend's Dominican. I would be like, oh, hey, give this to your mom. If, she wants to give it to people in DR, she can. Even his sister is now a teenager and she likes my style of clothes. So there have been things that she has taken for herself. It brings a light inside and knowing that none of these things are going to waste, because again, like Jennifer said, what you think might be, something that doesn't serve you could be someone else's treasure. And that's very true, I believe. And something else I wanted to share here on Presente with community ties was also, once again, caring about the environment. So Sephora actually has, I'm not sure if it's all Sephoras, but I know certain Sephoras have like a drop off and empties box within their space where you can pretty much take all of your empty, cream bottles, makeup bottles, anything. And, they will put it in, you'll put it in these boxes and then they'll reuse your empties and just reshelf them, because again, just to reduce the impact of carbon footprint that's in the environment. So I really thought that was a cool idea, something to share here on Presente. For anybody that does have a collection of empties and you want to give it away or drop it off, Sephora has a really nice way of going about this process. And lastly, I want to talk about here on Presente, the community that we have built, especially here on season 2. I feel like when you talk or when you're transparent about something, you're helping someone else unlock a part of their journey. They say that, the truth of who you are and the truth that you reveal will help somebody else reveal their truth. And I feel like in season 2, we definitely went deeper on that journey. We went within, because again, these are conversations, that we don't have or we never had when, we were younger growing up Latinas. And, that was, inner child healing, spiritual awakening, breaking generational cycles. And I feel like in season 2, we definitely tapped into more of those messages, because Presente is here to understand what was then to form what is now and how to evolve in your own journey. So community is something that by doing it together, we can really make, ripples. We can create an impact. And again, when you show up, it's a form of self-love. When we do more of that, we are able to spread that more within our own earth. I just wanted to share a few ways on how to be involved community-wise. And of course, these are certain things that I did back then and would like to start again. Definitely within Presente, we will find ways to open up this new journey of being more involved in our community. Again, once, we structure it, but I think it would be great when we do structure that, to bring about a bigger community here on the podcast where we can all, show our love for, this planet that we live in.
It's Black History Month. Let's continue to show love and support.
So the first one is Amara La Negra. Amara is a singer, actress, model, TV personality, and a podcaster. Her podcaster name is Exactly Amara. She is an Afro-Latina with roots from the Dominican Republic, born in Miami, Florida. Amara, today you are representing so many Afro-Latinos, Black who are Hispanic. We will also be recognizing you during Hispanic Heritage Month. Let it be known that you are doing important work on conversations our community does not have or is uncomfortable having. There needs to be more representation in the Latin community on Afro Latinos. Some people are not educated or know that there are not many Black people that also speak Spanish or are of Hispanic roots. If we don't shed light on topics like colorism, how do we expect to break barriers within our own communities? Latinos come in all shades of the rainbow. We are all beautifully, mixed culture. In fact, most of our cultures stem from the roots of Black culture and indigenous lineages. We must recognize the origins of our past to give credit where credit is due. Amara, thank you for causing ripples and embracing all of you. The next content creator that I want to give a shout out to is the Conscious Lee. He is a person that is heavily involved in TikTok. He's another Black creator causing ripples in our society. He came up with the phrase, education is elevation, and a phrase that I actually used during our conversation with Tamika Burgess when we were talking about the book Sincerely Cicely. He covers topics on branding and cultural appropriation. Lee was given an NAACP award. This award is given to those who do work to improve their community and educate others to help fix problems in today's society.
Speaking of community ties and also showing our appreciation for Black History Month, I must go on here and give a big shout out to Dykeman basketball, known as the red carpet of street ball. The whole team there, big shout out and kudos to you for everything that you do for the community and all of your involvements. Dykeman basketball, I highlight you guys because, for starters, I was an intern at Dykeman basketball many, many years ago when I pretty much started my career, my journey in media. They were the first ones to give me that opportunity to actually be on the courts, talk to the athletes and the coaches, as well as write newsletters and as well as game statistics. That will always be a part of me. Some really fun times there and exciting times. For those of you who do not know, but Dykeman basketball is the red carpet of street ball. They are the largest organization providing street basketball tournaments every summer. So people from all throughout New York City, all throughout nationwide and the world really show up to watch incredible talent take place night after night during the summer. It's literally taking place from June to the end of August. And this tournament holds no bars. Anything goes. You will see the best of the best ballers there playing, and you will see many familiar faces from the professional basketball players as well as artists and entertainers that show up and show love. I must give a shout out to each and everyone there. You guys continue to just keep on making strides, especially with your latest accomplishment. Dykeman basketball recently, now at the beginning of this year, won their first Sports Emmy Award. That's major. Major. Big congratulations to Mr. Ken Stevens and the family, Miss Sharon Bonds, Naya Stevens, Shayla Diaz, Khadijah Campbell, and Mr. Cha-Ching, known as Dave. And the list goes on. There's too many to name. They are a family. I thank them for giving me the opportunity many years ago to be a part of that family and experience everything. I'm super proud to see how much this organization has evolved and the impact it's created literally throughout not just, sports, street ball, basketball, but what they do for the community and for anyone that would like to be a part of them. They are very open arms as well. They're filled with an incredible team of leaders. When I tell you it is never a dull moment on the summer night lights, you can definitely enjoy yourself there. Dykeman, please continue to be a positive influence to the Black and Brown and Latin community. Your efforts do not go unnoticed. It's been over 25 years of service and counting, and just to know from how it started from an idea and how it continued to form and how it continued to grow, and to know all the success and accomplishments you guys are continuing to receive, and that is because you continue to do your part, and that is extremely important, and I see you guys, and it's much love and respect. So shout out to Dykeman. I hope to meet with you guys again, and for anyone who is interested, they can catch Dykeman the Comeback on MSG Network. Farewell for now. Hey y'all, it's Jennifer here. Well, what can I say as we conclude our last episode for season 2? Well, for starters, thank you. Thank you all for listening, for taking the time out of your day to tune in to Presente or follow, like, and share our content, and even write to us. We greatly appreciate it. We thank you all and our guest this season that made it possible to further discuss the topics we presented each week. As we continue to keep this movement alive and have these conversations, we would like to hear from you on topics that you would like to hear and know more about. We are here also to listen to you all the way you all have taken the time to listen to us. This is what I mean by being present with us. We are now a community, and I thank you for that.
Hello, everyone. I'm Presente. So, this is a farewell for now. So, as we wrap up season 2, we want to say gracias to our listeners for being presente. From our hearts to yours, we are appreciative for you guys here connecting with us in this part of the universe. We cannot wait to see you for season 3.
Thank you for tuning in to Presente, and please continue to share our podcast, available on Apple and YouTube. Your purpose is to be joyful. Your purpose is to live with ease. Your purpose is to surrender to the love of the universe so you can live a happy life.